Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my arm's feeling it right now. It's different. You try to do all the practice and preparation you can on the sideline, being the number two, and then when you get tossed into it, I didn't go through OTAs and training camp, and I'm not trying to make excuses or anything, but I just got to get in game shape and get rolling now. Not going through training camp the same way as normally. I mean, it's a different routine than I've been used to in the past, so I just got to, I got to get back to where I was.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, apparently we're having a computer issue, and Matt Barrows' intro isn't ready yet. So, Matt Barrows, he's the best. He's so much better than all the rest. Even though the Niners were so pathetic. Here comes Matt Barrows from the Athletic. Good morning, Matt. How are you? Thank you, Jason.
It's Burrows. Come on, get it right.
Burrows. I know we finally got it right. The computer's being stupid. Good morning. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. That was a nice little ditty that you were able to whip up there on short notice. Wow.
Yeah, I was on the fly.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe a career in rap. Maybe start out in a couple of rap battles, see how you do, and then go from there.
Not a lot of things that rhyme with athletic, but you know what? Pathetic does work.
Yeah, it sure does.
I was saying before the break, I'm so glad you get paid to do what you do. That was so tough to watch on television. And I'll just start with this. Biggest takeaway for you out of the game, Matt?
Well, the biggest takeaway was that it was a lot like the Week 1 game in Chicago. And in that game, you said, well, okay. There was a monsoon there. It was just really strange atmosphere. That was the reason. They had the same look. Special teams, great. Defense, spectacular. Offense, awful in this game as well. And I guess you can say, well, it's an altitude game. That probably was part of it. But I think it's more that, exactly what Jimmy Garoppolo was saying in your intro there, is that he was a savior last week. This week it's clear that he's not quite in sync, and that, hey, you do need an off-season and training camp and preseason to get ready for the year. And the other part is that he was complaining about a tired arm. So you got this weird dichotomy now of a guy with a tired arm who needs to get in sync. So usually that means more practice, but it sounds like they're going to have to stand back a little bit with him and get that arm right first. So he said all that after Kyle Shanahan spoke last night. Shanahan speaks at 3 o'clock today. That's going to be a good question for him. How do you get a guy back on track who has a sore arm at the moment?
And what would help, obviously, is to have one of your best offensive players, and that's Trent Williams. That was awful to see him go down. What do you think the status is, Matt, for his return?
Well, these high ankle sprains are usually multi-week injuries. He had something similar last playoffs. Remember, he sort of gutted through the Rams game there, and then said afterward that, you know what, I probably shouldn't have played in that game. Colton McKivitz, my backup, would have been better at 100% health than I was at, 80% health. So that seems to suggest he's going to be out for this Monday nighter against the Rams. We've seen just a couple of cases where high ankle sprain guys don't have to miss very much time. Jordan Willis famously had a high ankle sprain in that Packers game in which he blocked a punt. But this one, boy, it seemed more serious at the outset. They brought the cart out initially. Trent Williams waved it off and then walked very slowly into the locker room. So my guess is that it's a multi-week injury.
Matt Barrows of the Athletic joining us. It's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo all week long, of course. Do you pin any of this on Kyle Shanahan? How did you grade him as far as calling the game?
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't think it was that. I thought week 2 was a lot worse, calling a play in which the quarterback gets injured. It's funny, he was very resistant to taking any blames over all the runs that Trey Lance was taking. Yesterday, he took the blame for the most infamous play last night, which was the safety play. And I didn't really think he needed to on that one.
Matt, what did he? I missed it. I'm sorry. What did he say on the safety play? Basically,
He said he put Jimmy Garoppolo in a bad situation in that there was an unblocked rusher, and that unblocked rusher was Randy Gregory. So it wasn't Gregory who was really applying the pressure. It was Mike Purcell from the middle who beat two 49ers, including Spencer Burford. To me, the blame goes to Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, it's second down, so you can live another day there. And frankly, you need to know where the end line is in the end zone. So I thought that it was an example of Shanahan sort of falling on the sword and trying to kind of keep some spotlight off of Garoppolo there. It did strike me that it was a complete turnaround or 180 from the way he was acting after the Seahawks game, in a game in which I thought he did deserve the blame for some of, at least the game plan, at least for all the runs that Trey Lance had been taking early in his career.
Man, I know it's early, so 3 games doesn't dictate, really the entirety of the season, or certainly how this team is going to play as the year goes along. But on the positive side, I think the defense looks as good as ever, if not better. They played without Armstead last night, and others filled in to basically hold the Broncos to 9 points if we don't count the safety. It was a winning type defense against the Bears. Of course, they got the win in the middle week. Where do you see this defense? And it might be a part of the team that has to carry them to some victories along the way here.
Yeah, and it should have. I mean, this team should be 3-0. Just the way the defense and the special teams have played. We have this argument on the podcast that we do all the time, which is I just don't think that there's room in the NFL for a truly shutdown defense these days. Just the rules don't allow it. The quarterbacks are too good. In a crunch time last night's game, you saw Russell Wilson slowly turning into the Russell Wilson of old, which is escaping the pocket, making plays with his legs, quick throws, and just kind of exploiting all the things, like I said, that prevent defenses from becoming truly, truly elite. And I think the 49ers are as elite as you get in today's NFL, but I just don't think you can rely on them to kind of snuff out teams entirely. You need to have some semblance of an offense in order to win. So, it's a great formula, but the offense needs to show up. I think the 49ers are doing everything they can defensively to win these games, but they're 1-2 at this point. So I think that tells you all you need to know.
Matt, I'm trying to tilt my head and squint one eye here and try to mount a defense for Jimmy Garoppolo. One of the things I pointed out is every year he's played 15 or more games for this team, they've at least made an NFC championship, if not a Super Bowl. In your opinion, can fans feel comfortable giving him a bit of a pass because of the training camp or lack thereof, because of not having the playbook, and because he has a track record of winning? Should fans calm down and feel more optimistic, or is there real trouble here?
I mean, it seems like there's real trouble now. The question is, how long does it take Jimmy Garoppolo to get in rhythm? That was the word he kept using last night. It's like, we're out of rhythm. It's going to take a while to get in rhythm. An off season is multi months. So he's got to try to condense that into, a couple of weeks here. So obviously it's something that can be fixed. I mean, he knows all these guys, and I think it can be accelerated. And, the Rams have been a wonderful cure-all for this team. They're the team against whom they got on track last year. I mean, everything was off kilter, and then they had that great running game last year and a home game against the Rams, and that really got the 49ers right. So I think that'll be a theme, or at least kind of a question to the 49ers this week. Can you once again use the Rams to get back on track? But all the things that Jimmy Garoppolo pointed to are serious things. His arm's fatigued. He doesn't feel like he's in sync. There was a bad quarterback center exchange early in the third quarter. This is a center. He hasn't played with it at all until very recently. So, all the chickens from this weird off season are coming home to roost. And it's September, and the season started, and they've got to get it right very quickly.
That's Matt Barrows of The Athletic. Make sure to read him as he's got the best coverage there is of everything coming out of Niner camp, everything coming out of the greater San Jose area, Santa Clara area, and as the Niners in a little bit of a turmoil looking ahead to next week. Matt, appreciate you. Thank you so much as always.
All right. Anytime, guys. Talk to you soon.
Take care. That is Matt Barrows. We will take a break. When we